All right, so everyone's ready for some statues. So if Aditi, if
Yeah.
I had things planned as well as Aditi plans things, this would probably come under travel art because obviously we see most of our statues when we travel. And statues take so many different shapes and forms. It's not just human beings, human figures. We have statues of animals, mythical figures, all sorts of things. So I have shared a whole lot of statues, and statues are also made of different materials. We often get stuck on stone and marble, but we also have wrought iron, like, for example, this one, the Bull of Wall Street, right? It is definitely not your stone marble statue. So I thought maybe taking up a topic like this will allow us to. This is an extension of monochrome. That's why I wanted to do it after monochrome, because we have analyzed the fact that you can take one color and make shades of that color and apply shades of those colors to bring out the goodness of any picture. We are going to apply those concepts. I don't know how many of you all watched, those who missed last class, but how many of you all have been able to catch up or at least watch the video from last week. But basically, it is making tone. So what I'll do today, I will not go into too much of monochrome, but I will still talk about making shades. Let me just hold on. Display. I keep forgetting to put on this display to my phone times out. Hmm. So today I thought I'll take up some um, East Asian or Asian architecture. I'm sorry, sculptures too. So this is a Buddha that I've taken. Then I've thought of, this is just like a quick study. I wanted to do a study, just one part of the body. So this is just for a study, for the study sake. Then we have options to pick from. I thought music, nothing like taking a bust. Bust is so common, especially in Europe. You have a lot of busts when you go to museums, heritage centers. You'll see a lot of busts. So busts are also a very nice thing to illustrate in travels. Then, yeah, I also picked up Rodin's Thinking Man. Now, this is a sculpture that's rather difficult if you think of how will you draw this, because it's all black and shades of black. We are used to light colors. We are used to taking white and then going into slightly darker shades to show the shadows. But when you have a black, any object, any material, it can be stone, it can be metal. How do we go about giving it some form? Okay, with white we often put a background, right? We put a background and then your white stands out beautifully. But if it is black, obviously we don't want to put a black background. We want to let the statue stand alone. So this is one example we could attempt just to figure how to make this thing dark. Okay, so to start off, let's just start off with a pencil study, because we need to do a pencil study anyway. Let's start with the pencil study of this hand. Okay, the hand grasping a cloth. I'm always wonderstruck at how beautifully I mean, uh, um, sculptors, right? Sculptors sculpt out these almost lifelike shapes. If you've seen that, what is it, David, the statue of
David,
David?
oh my God,
Oh my goodness,
amazing.
he's gone down to the veins on the hand.
Yeah.
It is just so amazing. It's
Even
life.
in this, you can literally see the cuticle on the thumb,
Yeah,
almost.
everything. Right up to, I mean, veins and all, veins popping and all. How do you get that smoothness? Then there is another statue where I've seen of skin to skin, like when you are touching um, fingers onto skin, onto any part, fleshy part of the body, like here. If you push down, see that effect of pressure
Hmm.
on this flesh. That also captured so beautifully in stone. I can't even imagine the pressure of fingers on flesh. It's amazing. So if sculptors can do it with such a hard medium, I mean, surely we can capture something on paper. All right. For this, I will take pencil. If you want to use color pencil for this, that's perfectly fine. I found that when I use pencil, sometimes the page kind of gets a little messy because graphite dislodges from paper very easily. So if you feel like you want to do this exercise in color pencil, go ahead and do it in color pencil. I'll probably take a black color pencil, but if you want to do it in pencil, perfectly fine. Okay. So now here, don't worry too much about getting the proportions all exact. Huh? We want it to look like a hand, definitely, definitely. But give yourself a general kind of a shape, overall shape. So now, for example, this may be not a circle, maybe an oblong, um, oval that is slightly sideways. So if you tell yourself that you're going to give yourself a bit of an oval like this, okay?
Hey, Susan, do you have, sorry to
Oh,
interrupt. Do
sorry,
you have
sorry.
the
I haven't.
spotlight?
I
Because
have.
I had to pin your screen.
Hold on, hold on. Visible? Sorry, sorry. My mistake.
Yeah, it's fine. Thanks.
Okay. So what I'm saying is, I'm going to give myself an oval to work with. So this is my oval. Okay. And from that oval, I'm going to extend the arm outward, right? So let me extend that out. And let me give myself some kind of a reference this way. Arm is getting thicker. Okay. Then from here, now I can start giving 1 minute. The thing is, it's constantly adjusting. I'm just trying to draw a bit gently so that my lines don't. So I gave myself this space, this round space. Now that I've put the arm out of it, okay, let me try to get the details of the hand now drawn inside, okay? So over here, get the curve of the thumb. I know you can see what I'm drawing, but if you are drawing it in pencil, keep it very light. Because at this point, we are simply drawing, giving ourselves an outline. If there is any correction to be made, you want to go over these lines several times and you want this outline to disappear, okay, in among your lines. So don't make it very dark. Over here, I have cloth, a little bit of cloth sticking out, then some curve of the cloth and the center portion. Okay. Then we have the finger that's folded. Okay. Coming out from here. So that oblong was very good for to give you some kind of a structure to start with. Okay, now the second finger, now look carefully at your fingers because there is one index finger here. Then there is the middle finger starting here, but going down and coming all the way here and turning. Now what I've realized is my thumb could be a little longer, right? See, these are the kind of things that I'm saying that we have to make corrections as we go. So thumb could have been a bit longer. Okay, then I have the ring finger. Ring finger comes here, it goes up a bit, comes almost the side of the other finger. Now for the ring finger, there's this, the last bend also you can see over here, see? And then finally the last finger, the little finger comes out here, Now, little finger is almost parallel to the ring finger. After this, mostly it is simple. You have a little bit of the palm at the base over here, the palm of the hand, this part of the hand, which you need to just observe. See over here, the palm sticks out only this much because after that you have the cloth coming. General observations of the most evident shapes need to be right. After that, you can always bring in the detail as you color. Now, I'm just roughly giving myself a guide. See, this height comes till here, and then below that is this mark. So just giving myself one. This height has to come to here and below. So somewhere here will be my fold in the cloth. Just keep that in mind. So estimating with just your pencil or some other tool like that will really help. Okay, parts of the cloth are now sticking out here. And that's it. You've got the general shape, right? Now I know this part is a little dark, but let's just continue shading. Okay, as we shade the dark portions under the over here, we may be able to go over this marking we gave ourselves. Don't worry about it. So when it comes to shading, just stop to observe. This part of the hand is quite white. So don't go in with too much color here. Okay. You can probably go in with that shade after you do the hand. Let's get to the details of the hand. Okay. Now, last time we had done this exercise of seeing how dark your pencil can get. Okay. For those of you who want to do this exercise, because last time you all missed it, it's a very simple exercise. Just draw yourself some boxes on top. Okay. Those of you who are comfortable not doing this, please don't have to do this. Huh? I'm just giving everyone an idea. I'm just making these boxes on top to indicate the various shades I can make with this one pencil. Okay. So the first box will be your lightest shade, very, very light. You're just barely touching your pencil to paper shade. Okay. Just barely touching. You're not doing anything much. And for this, if you want to get the shade, hold your pencil quite far, not at the, you'll see I'm not holding it right at the tip. Hold it as like this far or so. And what happens is it takes away the pressure. Otherwise, what's going to happen naturally, your hand will exert some pressure. You will not get the lightest light that you want to get. Okay. So there's my lightest light. Alka and Varsha, if you want to proceed with the hand, please go ahead. Huh? Don't wait. Next is we get darker in the next box, but only slightly darker. It should be only visible to you that you have grown a slight bit darker than the first box. Okay. To get darker, don't always exert too much pressure. You can simply go over the same area a few more times. So repeatedly going over an area, depositing more graphite or color in your case, in my case, would give you the same kind of effect. Basically, you're getting darker without giving in too much or adding in too much pressure. Okay.
Right.
Someone said something? No. Okay. can you see a second shade? Slightly darker than my first. Now, a little more. This exercise is for you to understand how many different shades you can get with the tool of your choice. In this case, it's a pencil or a color pencil, whatever the case be. How many shades can you get, and why do you need to do this? So that you can understand what you need to apply where, meaning what shade should you apply at different stages of your picture. Detailing your picture, what shade of this thing should you apply? Now I have a third shade, which is darker than the second. Now you will notice I have made 5 boxes. In this process, you may realize that you can make maybe 7 shades or 9 shades. I have started off with 5 boxes. Don't limit yourself to 5 boxes. You can make as many shades as you are patient enough with your tool. Okay. So now I'm getting darker than this, and I'm going to go in with my 4th shade. Let's see how many more I get. Maybe I'll get 1 more, 2 more. I'm not sure. Let's see. By this point, you can start adding a little bit of pressure as well as repetitive action to get the darker shade. See? With a pencil, you may actually be able to do a lot. Okay, so I've got a darker shade, and now I'm going to go even darker. Okay, and I may just be able to do 1 more. Okay, so I've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shades with this one pencil. This is a nice exercise so that you can understand now, looking at the picture, which shade should I apply where. Your darkest darks are only going to come here, where the folds are, at the corners, in the grooves. They are very few in number. Okay, so leave that for now and start shading in the other shades that you find. For example, over here, my finger is dark. Okay, I mean somewhere here, mid-tone. It's called a mid-tone. So we'll apply a mid-tone over here. Be gentle with your pencil.
So, Susan, there's also dark shades and there's also spots in the marble.
Yes, if you can do the spots. Now to
Oh
get the
my
spots
God.
in a marble, not very difficult actually. All you need to do is you keep your pencil at the spot there. Now, for example, if I see a spot here, okay, keep the pencil here and just very slightly vibrate. You see me just moving it?
Yeah.
Okay, just vibrate, literally vibrate your hand and pick up.
Okay.
What will be left behind is just that repeated action ka mark, nothing more
Okay.
than that. Whereas if you do this, if you decide to press down and do a mark, it's going to be dark. It's going to be quite dark, very, very dark. So wherever you find these marks, just hold your pencil there and just let it like literally move up and down, up and down, up and down, and that's very subtle. But you'll have to patiently do that with every mark. Okay, over here I see some darkness just where the cloth touches the skin. Over here I was telling you, this is where the cloth is just touching the skin. It's a bit darker. Where else? Let's go on to this part. Keep this portion a little lighter. Remember, you look at the picture, this portion is light, so don't go in with color right away. You can, if you feel you want to darken it or the light is too white, paper white is too white. Oh, by the way, I forgot to talk about this, but there should ideally be one more block here, which you will not color in because that's also a shade. Okay. Paper white is also a shade. It is your lightest shade. There will be a point somewhere in your drawing where you may not want to put any color at all. It will be just the white of the paper. So keep that also, factor that also in. So for example, at this point, I definitely do not want to add much pencil. I mean, just barely touch it, leave the paper white as it is. Okay, so keep those things in mind. Okay, here I'm going to have to move a little faster. This is not going to complete our small repeated strokes. Now, as you do these corners where one, like the material is touching the hand and you notice that it is dark, don't press down on the dark. Just repeatedly rub your pencil into that groove and it will darken just from that repeated action. Okay. What I mean to say is don't put in a line, a single line and say, okay, that's my dark line. No, try to rub in and get your dark line to come out. Yeah. Because when we draw, we usually tend to do that. We tend to put a single dark line and say, okay, that's my dark line. Okay, over here, the fold of the cloth, there is some gray, very little. If you want a fine line, make sure your pencil is pointed when you're adding in the gray or brown, black at that point. Sometimes to bring out one like a shape, what you need to do is darken the space after it. So for example, here, darkening that space after the finger will make you highlight the index finger. That means the next part. So here, see, this is where the finger bends, okay, the knuckle. And from the knuckle downwards, it is dark. Can you see it's evolving? Now also you will notice that the underside of the thumb on this side definitely is darker than the upper side of it. This is a very relaxing process. You can actually spend a lot of time just adding all the detail you want. Even the nail has a little bit of shading on the left. So keep that in mind. Little bit on the left side. See, the shape of the thumb here on top is standing out, not because we have put an outline, but because the part on the other side that is above it is darker than this part. See? So this whiteness is standing out because of the darkness on the other side. So make sure that the grays you have on this side of the thumb are a little deeper. Otherwise, your thumb will not stand out the way it is standing out in the picture. See? In fact, I think my thumb could have been a little bit wider over here. See? These corrections you can make as you color in. Now this exercise is going to take us some time. So what I was thinking is, if you've got the gist of it, we can proceed doing this at home, continue later and do the entire arm, and maybe share it when you're done. And then we can go on to probably a statue. Any choices? Is there anything anyone would particularly like to attempt? Because our next exercise is going to be us drawing something in pencil and going over it in watercolor.
Susan, maybe the last one, because I'm just wondering, whenever we go to museums, we have a lot of these kinds of sculptures that we always see and we want to attempt.
Absolutely. No, we can.
How it will turn out.
Yeah. This is great fun. So what we'll do for this is, let's draw this out and we'll give ourselves a frame. Now this is a bit squarish. Now this bust itself is a little squarish. We need not do the whole bust. See, we need not do the bottom of the bust. We can probably just do this portion. Or if you feel like doing the whole bust, we can do the whole bust. Because really not much. Okay, but give yourself some shapes. Now up till the bust, okay, this seems like a square to me. If you look at the picture, it is looking very squarish, this much, just up till the bust. So what you can do here is draw a reference square, what looks like a square to you. Okay, this doesn't look like a square. And then, so give yourself some guide. So your picture is going to come here. Okay. He's going to have to fit himself here. No, something is wrong. Oh, my square is not square. This is a proportion thing that Aditi tells us, no? Roughly get your proportions. So my rough proportions are only wrong.
Susan, did you say we are watercoloring this one later?
Yes, we are. Watercolor, but first we'll just sketch the outline of, this is Beethoven. So we're going to get his general shape drawn out in pencil, and then the details we will add in watercolor. For this scraggly hair, which I'm not going to worry about right now. And then the frame of his, we want to frame his face in this space. Okay. Sure if you can see what I'm trying to do here. You see? I'm giving myself some kind of an outline. But I'm keeping it light because we still need to go in watercolor. Somewhere here is the V of his. Now you start to realize that our square frame is, we are going out of the square frame now. That's because this square was just meant to hold his head to bust area. We have to add the remaining. And then we'll go over it with a kneadable eraser. So here he's got a button, and here then here. So match a few things, like for example, this side and this side, just keep comparing when you're drawing, because it's a piece of clothing and it will be quite proportionate. This arm comes there. Yeah. Finally, I'm getting some shape of the base. Okay. And his it's got a squarish chin, huh? Little broad at this point, and then thinning, narrows a bit near the head. At the head, there is some hair that's wavy. And there's definitely wavy hair here. A few of these strands of hair, if you can just put in, it will make things easier as we add detail with watercolor. At least what I would call remarkable ones, the ones that are really standing out as clear shapes in his hair. Okay. Now this chap is, I mean, if we all know Beethoven, he is a grumpy guy. So you have to catch his grumpiness. And he's got that grumpiness in his eyebrows. Okay. They are knit together. So you will notice his eyebrows starting here are furrowed. So the side of the eyebrow, if you look carefully, the side of the eyebrow is slightly higher than the center, which is not always the case when we're drawing a portrait, right? We don't see the eyebrow shape like this. But this is because of the furrow in the middle. And we're trying to capture that. So keep that in mind. We want a little furrow. We want his eyebrows to look slightly angular, and then the shape of his eye comes under that. In many busts and statues, you will notice that the eye looks almost dead because the iris and all those details are not prominent. Even if they are there, I'm not saying that they're not there. They are there. You look at Beethoven, iris is very much there. It's just that because it's the same stone, you can't see it very clearly, like a human iris that's dark. So there is his iris, little bit, small bit there. Nose, like with human figures, make sure that we are highlighting just the nostril. The rest will kind of fall in place. Then he's got lip that is really downward. Okay, framing that angry look. One thing about human figures, you must remember in statues, is that the lip, observe the lip. The way the human lip is shaped and the way it is sculpted onto stone, shadow falls, you will see a shadow on the upper lip. But the lower lip is facing light almost always, almost always. Take a look at any sculptures, statues, or faces that have clear faces. The lower lip is usually nice and bright, light hitting it properly, but the upper lip is dark. And the way to show the lower lip is to show the shadow that comes under the lower lip. So this part is what will allow you to see that the lower lip is so bright. Just details, and these are just details that you figure as you go along. To shape the lower lip, shape the shadow under the lower lip. That's it. Then he's got a bit of a chin. Okay. He's got from the side of his nose definite lines, which we want to just keep soft. Side of his eye going down. Okay, so he's got like a very angular, muscular face. Now the furrows in his eyebrows lead to, furrowing of the eyebrow leads to some ring lines on his forehead. You want to capture that. There are some lines at the side of his eyes too. I think I may have made his eyes a little big. At this point, you can check all these proportions that you're putting on, because we are not using a grid to draw the face. So proportions could be a little off. There is the ear over here, and there is the ear on the other side, which is only partially seen. Done. I think most of the details we wanted to capture are done. Now we can, we have to add a bottom as well. Sorry. So somewhere here, he's got statue sits on the bust sits on a stand. The early part of the stand is okay. It's quite straightforward. The bottom of the stand, you have to remember that there is some depth. We have to show dimension by adding these corners. Okay. Curves. Finally, the block at the bottom. Maybe it's a bit. Okay. I don't have my kneadable, so I'm just using a normal eraser to take this off. Lighten my drawing a bit. Let's go with now a bust like this made of marble is usually best highlighted when you put a nice dark background. Okay, and the dark background is what we often don't like. I don't like, at least, because I'm not very good at adding clean backgrounds. Mine becomes a bit patchy. I guess that is also something to appreciate, something to like, learn to like. What color shall we go in with? Gray? It's looking gray to me.
Susan, I have to leave. I'll catch up with the recording.
Okay, okay, no problem.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye. See you. How are we on time? 10:21. Okay, not bad. Let's make some gray. And now this gray is Aditi's gray, which is ultramarine blue and burnt umber. Ultramarine blue and burnt umber should give you a nice gray. Okay. Get this to a wash consistency. Now we're going around the statue. So be very, now this part is interesting. You're going to have to get your outline as best as you can because you're going around his head. And so his hair, the shape of his hair, if you've drawn it, please follow it exactly as you've drawn. If you want to make any changes, make it while you're going, but you can't make any more changes because now this dark color, usually if you get less of it, it's not going to, what do I say less of it? What I mean is, if by chance you go over the portion that needs to be light, it will change the shape of his head, right? So keep that in mind when you are putting an outline. And yet no pressure. Okay. Go over this part. And once you've got your shape, you can easily press down your brush and spread your color. Okay, over here I have some curves. As long as you've got this outline, then you can press down your brush and spread the paint. Here, I've noticed that I should have gone a little further. Okay. We're doing this fast, so don't worry if you feel that, oh, here and there a few things have gone not exact, don't worry about it. Then the bottom gets easy because that's not very shaky at all. If you want to turn, please turn your book. if that will help. If not, keep it straight. Huh? I'm not insisting that you should turn your book. Turn only if you feel like you need. I need this straight for this part. Even though we are trying to get as much correct as possible, we have to remember we are in a museum. We don't have time to do a really perfect job. Now that I've got his side correct, I'm going to tilt my book. I'm going in with the last part. Ultramarine blue is a granulating color. So you will notice that the brown and the blue don't stay together all the time. You get the brown and the blue shifting a bit. All right. How's it looking for y'all? This much? Let's see. Ritika. Yeah, good, Ritika. Not bad. Not bad at all. You got the shape quite right. Now comes the challenging portion. The challenging part is after you get the, of course, shape was the first challenge. But after the shape comes the part where you have to get him to look somewhat like the character you're trying to. Now we are going to go in with lighter shades. Everyone is at reached this point where you have put an outline. Anyone needing more time to put an outline? Yeah, okay, go on, guys. What we can do, what the rest of us can do is we can start making dilute versions of our gray. So in a corner somewhere in your palette, start adding water and putting in only a little bit of the gray in that water. Okay. What I'm trying to do is I want to get a really, really wash shade and observe your picture. This is a good time to sit and observe your picture. Wherever there are joinings of material to material, hair to face, eyebrows to eye, wherever there is that joint, that is where you will see the gray, right? Wherever the carving has been made in the stone, that's where you will see the gray. So we have to first step put all those key joint marks in first. Okay. So let me just think. The other thing that you have to remember is the bust is lighter than the stand. The early part of the stand, under the bust, the stand is dark. And then as you go down, it becomes a bit light. Okay. So what are the observations? Your darkest shades. Where do your darkest shades come? For this, you have to zoom in a bit. Unlike our hand wala photo, the dark shades here are not as like not very, very dark. They may look dark here, but in my photo, it's not looking as dark as these portions in the hand. So the other thing is that they are very, very thin. So I hope you're working with your thinnest brush. I'm working with a size 0. If you're not working with a size 0, make sure you're working with a brush that has an excellent point. Yeah. Okay. Mouth lining is dark, near the ear is dark. Let's start with one light wash. I'll just mark the wash for you here. This is how light the wash is. A very, very light wash. You're going to take this color, this light wash, and start giving all the outlines of major the features some shadow. So here we go at the side of his face. Okay, mark out his face so that we can get the structure of his face right. Now, because it is a very light gray, if you feel some modifications are to be made, make it. Like I feel his chin could have been lower, and I'm making that modification. Slightly lower here. Other side of the face, there is a little darkness here. Then the shape of the face starts. Little darkness here. Again, see a bulge over here. Oops. A bulge over here. Then comes his ear. Before the ear, there's a little bit of brown or gray. Then under the ear, we get his jawline. That's it. Light jawline. Top of the head. Definitely some gray here. One line here. One hair streak coming here. Now there are lots of streaks of hair that you can add in right here, right? With these gray lines. Don't have to be perfect. They just have to indicate the shape of the hair. See over here, the hair is curving. Okay, just indicate that shape. Now here, as you go higher, there are some strands of hair over here. Not all strands of hair need to be shown, only some. So here I can see some. There is. Move to the side over here. There's definitely some gray here. Look for the biggest gray strands in his hair. See, these two are coming up. Huh? So I'm going to put one here. And I'm going to put one more here. Then somewhere here, there is some action of hair. And then some lines. I'm just putting gray lines, okay? Let's go to the other side of his head. I can see gray over here. A few lines. Then some curves over here. Line over here. Again, one spot over here. If by mistake you have put some gray somewhere that is not correct, don't worry. We are at a very light shade. So it's okay. It can be corrected with a darker gray later. So right now, don't worry. We've got most of his hair shape in place. Leave it now. Now we go to his face. Eyebrow definitely has some gray. Let's put that in. Same shade. By the way, I'm not changing the shade of the gray that I've used right now. That's that wash consistency. And with that, I'm going to also show the lines on his forehead. It may look dark right now, but it's going to lighten. Then his eyebrow over here. And then there is darkness on the upper part of the eye. So put the gray only at the upper part. And the start of the iris. See, the iris is, I'm not doing it at the bottom yet. Then there is a dark shade over here, where the nose, there is a furrow here. At the edge of his eye also, there is some darkness. See, here and here. Now under the eye, just leave a slight line of white. Just a slight line of white. Meaning that, see, look at the eye. The bottom of the eyelid is standing out because under it, they have put a little bit of gray. Like you have to put a little bit of gray just under it, so that you have one single line indicating, white line indicating the. If it's difficult, don't worry too much. You can proceed. This is a small shape. We are not making this at A4 size or anything. So it's possible that may be too small to notice. But if you can put it in, put the detail. Now I'm going on to his nose, side of the nose. Okay. These look like horrible worms. If you feel it's looking bad, dry your brush and simply pick up the color. Yeah. The moment you pick up the color, it softens the color. So here, under his nose, there is a little bit of a shadow. Keep that in mind. Now the nostrils themselves are actually darker, so we won't put in much more over here because there's no point. This gray is a light gray that we're using. Then I'm going to put the lip. I'm painting here the upper lip, only the upper lip. Okay. And I'll dry my brush, and with whatever paint is there in the brush, which is so light, I will go under the lower lip and put a shadow. Show you how it looks close up. So when I put that shadow under the lower lip ka shape starts to appear. Right? Now upper lip I'm finding is very dark. It's okay. Just pick up some color. Here you go. Then beyond that also, he has got a dark portion here that highlights his big chin. And he has some portion here at the side of his mouth. Okay. And add that in. After you add in a color, you want to lighten it, please go ahead and lighten it by picking up the color. What will happen is it will deposit some pigment, but not all the pigment. Some of the pigment will get picked up. Pick up the paint, and you will be left with a very, very subtle shade of gray. Okay, now that the face looks more or less like Beethoven's face, we'll proceed to the body. Need a little more of that gray. Now under his chin, there is definitely a dark portion. So highlight that a bit. And there are lines of his tie. Everywhere, remember, you are only adding shadows. You're not painting his face. You are painting the shadows. You're painting the shadow of his clothes. Everything is just the shadow. You're looking for the shadow and you're putting the shadow. And what is coming out from putting the shadow is the feature of the face and the body. So we have to remember this part. It's kind of like negative painting, right? So you're putting in the dark portions and the light portions stand out and they start to look like something. His necktie, all simple gray lines, just gray lines. Under the necktie, there is a little bit of darkness. So let's put that in. Then there is a vertical line indicating his shirt. The shirt. over here, the side of his thing, there is definitely a big patch of gray. This patch of gray indicates that it is a coat going over a shirt. Right? Now, lay down a color on the right side, lay down one line over here, and then you want this line to gray to blend. So the way to blend it is, after you put down a dark gray line, show this to you. After you put down a dark gray line like this, clean your brush and go over the outer part which you want to blend. See? By doing this, can you see the harsh line is gone? That harsh gray is gone, and you still have a gray, but it has become a lot less. It's not harsh. The harsh line is not there. Okay, now this same thing continues here. See? Under the tie. Put down the gray, clean your brush, and then wipe off the pigment so that you get a very natural blend. What else? Here there is definitely a line. Also here. यहाँ पे you will find a little bit of a gray just where the coat is going over. So put your gray and then wipe it off with a clean brush. Now, where else? What else are we looking at? There is a lot of gray happening in the neck piece. We haven't added. But this will also come when we put in darker shades later. Okay, so don't worry about it. We are going to, this is still our wash gray. We have not started doing darker grays. Okay, then we have this portion here where the line comes in. Quite a hard line. Then around the button, gray around the button with an indicator that the button is pressing into cloth. See? So put those little tiny lines that are sticking out. You can see them if you look at your picture, you will see these lines. See? Small little lines that indicate that the button is pressing into the coat or the material of the coat. What else are we left with? I think over here, the lapel, I see some gray. So I'm going to put a little bit of gray. Okay. Clean my brush and dry it and wipe off the gray so that I can get just a slight hint of that label. See? Very subtle. You will have to do a lot of these because in a lot of statues, it's a very subtle curve or a bend that you want to highlight. Then over here, where his arm starts, see over here, put in the gray, clean your brush and dull it down. Again, on the other side, there's not so much, it's lighter. Just a little bit here. Okay. And wipe it off. The bigger gray is over here. There is definitely a lot of gray over here, which we need to again do the same strategy. Wipe it off. Put it, then blend it. What else? Here, very clear darkness. Same thing on the other side. I did not put it, but there is definitely the darkness of that lapel coming down. Dono side. Okay. We've got a lot of it in. Now let's take the same gray, apply it at the bottom of our bust. Now this portion is nice and dark, so I'm not going to do much. I'm just going to keep it that way. I'll draw a line here. That's it, just to indicate that there is a shape over there. And then over here again, I'll put a gray. And then as I come down with the brush, the pigment is over. There's no more pigment left. So it's getting lighter and lighter and it just blends with the white. One more wash gray has got one more job here. And that is here. See here. There's a shadow here. There is a thin gray line over here. And this whole block here is gray. Right? On this side, you may not see these lines very clearly because the light is hitting it. But on the other side, the gray is very, very evident. So you can put that in. See, this gray, quite evident. If you feel, now what is happening with me is that I feel that my outside gray and my inside gray are starting to match. One of two things, either you can lighten this nicely, pick up the paint or dab on it, or you can go back in later and put a darker outline, darker background. Your choice. Right now, I don't feel like touching the background because it was effort to put it. I don't want to put that effort in again. Okay. Shall we go in with how's everybody so far?
I think I'm done, Susan.
Let's see.
Mine is looking like Einstein than Beethoven.
Wow, not bad, not bad, not bad.
Wow.
You definitely got him grumpy. It's Beethoven only. Oh,
Yeah.
your hand is also looking lovely. Very
Yeah.
nice.
Got it. Thank you.
Very nice. Not bad at all. Okay, who is this? Ritika? No. Yeah, Ritika. Hold on. Huh?
It's very grumpy.
That's what I'm saying. I'm telling you, Ritika is looking very nice, huh? Very nice. So this is the key thing. When you have in a shorter time, he has to look like Beethoven, make him grumpy. He's not looking like Einstein. Einstein was a pleasant guy.
Yeah, Einstein hair is all over the place. This is not.
Mine is
This is
looking.
not Einstein.
Mine
Okay,
is looking
try
like
one.
an Einstein.
I want to see you
Take
Einstein.
Yeah,
let's
grumpy
see, Zai.
Einstein.
Zai, you still got a lot of pencil work on that.
Yeah.
Days
So-
are too light.
So you know what I did? I made a grade because I was in the habit of doing so, and then I forgot to erase it.
I see.
I can still try to take it out.
Pick out, yeah. But you know what? Don't worry too much. Add a few more watercolor grays. As you put a few more layers, your lines will eventually somewhere along the way. That'll be. It's okay. That'll be. It's a study.
Hopefully. That line splitting is
Vertical line, is
failing.
it?
Oh yeah.
Ah.
As I was doing it, I realized, and I was like, oh, okay.
So you know what? That is why we have to get to our next exercise. And I really want to get to it because we have only 10 minutes. And I want to get to that exercise. So you can deepen. I think most of you, I will be going in with a few more shades of gray for this fellow. He definitely needs a little more on the side of his head, under his chin. So for me, at least 2 more shades of gray are going to go into this picture to make it little more, like to make it pop a little. Okay. But if the majority of you are done, I want to go in with an exercise. So this was our first exercise was we sketched it in pencil and we colored it in pencil. Our second exercise is we drew the outline in pencil, but we went in with watercolor. Now you have no pencil. We take watercolor, we sketch with watercolor, and we finalize it with watercolor. Okay. So for that exercise, let's take, you want to take the Buddha? Want to try getting all your proportions as best as you can with just watercolor, only watercolor. It's going to be fun. And maybe we could, do you want to keep the same color? Because I got lots of gray on my palette. How about y'all? Do y'all have enough gray?
Can you change the spotlight? I'm still in this
Oh,
spotlight.
sorry. Sorry. I didn't realize. What is the popular vote? Should we stay gray or shall we change color to brown maybe?
Or maybe blue?
Brown might be
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Want to try brown?
Hmm.
Okay. Burnt umber then. So let's make a pool of burnt umber. Not a big pool, huh? Sorry. I should have been more specific. Not a big pool. We are going to work with light burnt umber. So let me put a few dots of water. Very, very light. See, wash. Okay, everybody's understood wash. Now, why are we doing this? Because we are not using a pencil outline. We are not sketching with a pencil. We are sketching with watercolor. So if we want to correct something with more details, when we add more details, it should be light enough for us to go over it in dark color, and it should be light enough for us to be able to ignore it altogether when the picture forms. Okay, so let us keep our reference photo here. Okay, and wing it. Do not hesitate now. Give yourself rough outlines and get on with it. So now I'm going to start here. You see what I'm doing? I'm just going to go and put color. This way looks okay to me. This kind of an outline. The ear. And then his head somewhere here. Okay, the face is a very classic style of Southeast Asia. Okay, eyes also. We have eyes here. I'm working with the shadows. Huh? Remember, I'm working with the shadows. Okay, then we have the neck. Some lines. And do this simultaneously, both sides, because otherwise you're going to have imbalanced, slightly imbalanced Buddha. See, you see how light I am, no, right now? This is to allow for mistakes. Side is too light. Now here his hand is kind of straight, awkwardly straight. Okay, whereas on the other side, the hand is slightly angular. Whichever way, elbows have to reach the same place. Huh? You can't have elbow higher and lower. So wherever his hand turns, now his hand is going to have to turn up, and then his elbow is going to, arm is going to turn up, and then he's going to have his hand here. So I'm going to be a little careful now because I want to get this. So his body comes like this. I'm a little worried about the arm. So let me first draw the hand. Just the outline of the hand. Huh? He puts his hand this way, thumb. There. So my hand is more or less, I don't know if you can see it. I'm really. Is it not focusing? Then I get this down. Okay. So I've given myself an arm that ends here, which means this part has to also be somewhere here and turning somewhere here. Okay. His arm comes inward. Body comes this way, comes down this way. His arm will also be like this. See? Overall shapes are coming. Now this side is all clothing. So you're not going to see the curve of the body at that point. Just that his hand comes till here. Now there's an arm finger here. And the arm is going to be, sorry, the hand is going to be here. Okay. Then there is a foot. There is a foot over here, followed by the knee. Now make sure that the other foot is also right here. See where the arm is? The foot is coming out like this, going flat. I made an adjustment there. And I got the knee. Okay. Then from here, there is cloth. More and more lines of cloth. You can just put that in. I'm being very wishy-washy about it. Huh? Here's my overall shape. Everybody's got an overall shape that looks okay, like Buddha to you? Works? Yes, good, excellent. Now what you want to do is with the same color, see the darkest portions of his body and put the shade in right away. So I'm going to put the shade in here. See, there's definite shade over here under the arm, this portion. Okay, put that shade in till his hand. And to make this shade become very subtle, I will simply dry my brush off. That's what happened. It's fly off and now my paint will dry before it has had a chance to be blended. I'm just going to blend it in. Same thing with the side of his face. Over here, as well as the side of his head, as well as the side of his face, there is a very definite eye. Eye comes here, under his chin, neck, and some part of the shoulder. Add all these things in loosely. Don't be very worried about it. Over here, where his skin and clothing touch, there is a slight shadow. Watch his hand. Hand is right here. Hardly, like I may just go over his hand if I don't mark it. What else are we looking at? Here there is definitely some darkness. Here there is some darkness. Then under the foot, shadow. And on this side. Okay. So some large shadows I've put. Now let's deepen our brown. Go in also with a finer brush if you want. A finer brush, or the tip of your brush should be nice and So now we are going to put the rings on his head. Indicator, huh? These are indicator. It's 11 o'clock, so we want to get moving. Museum guys are going to throw us out, huh? As you come to this side, I'm going to, in fact, I'm just going to darken this corner, the side of his face. And here I will have a part of his ear. Now here, it's the curves that are visible. Towards the end, you are not seeing much because this is all light. Under the ear, a little bit of darkness. Eyes. Just the line. Okay. I don't like the brush is too big. Going to go in with a thinner brush. So here, what am I doing? A thin line. The curve of his eye over here. Same thing here, a thin line. And this nose part is definitely very prominent. The mouth, you can take just like 2 minutes just to get the mouth right, huh? Because it's important. The shapely mouth. Again, remember the concept of upper lip being visible in shadow and the lower lip being indicated by the shadow under it. Okay. He has this thing on the head, on the above his forehead, a bindi kind of a thing. What is it? What do you call this? And that also is going to be indicated by a shadow, only one side. On the left side of the face, there is a little bit of wash. Huh? See over here. There is a wash. Put in paint, dry your brush, blend. Now where else? Over here. It may look very dark, but we are going to blend. Okay. Wet your brush. Okay. Dark paint goes in here. All of this is quite dark. And the shape of the finger is going to come out from the darkness that you put. And blend. It's all a question of blending. Huh? There's a lot of blending to be done. You apply a dark color and then you blend it in. Now here there's something gone wrong. Don't worry. I think I've made his this thing come too close to the body, to the middle of his body. Over here, there's some darkness that you want to highlight. Light colors. Throughout this exercise, make sure that you have your wash consistency close by. You need it regularly. So the dark portion should be kept away from the wash so that you can put the wash in whenever you like. Too dark. Pick up. Now another mistake on my part has been that I have put his fingers below this line. Just fine. I'm not going to correct that now. Okay. How's it looking for everyone? This is a loose exercise. Huh? Don't worry about, it's not Beethoven. It's not what we are trying to do, what we try to do with Beethoven. And I will stop there because I can keep going on, but that is for when you have time. When you don't have time, this is all you'll get. How's it looking? Let's see. Ritika. Nice, Ritika. You've gotten your dark shades, huh? Very nice. Very lovely. Super, super. Shivani? Let's see. Yeah, nice. So what do you think? You can do it without a pencil sketch, no?
Easily.
Yeah, not bad, no? Why we sit and
Not bad. I really like it. Look, it looks like Buddha. The hand and all is a bit off, I think. I
Yeah,
still
but
need to
that's
do.
okay, no? You got the gist of it. And without a
Ah.
pencil,
Correct.
yeah, can be done. Varsha, come on.
Varsha, we
Why
always
Einstein?
the Einstein.
Why? Okay, your
Also
Beethoven
nice.
is definitely
Shadings were-
angry. Beethoven is definitely angry.
And whether it's a doubt whether it's a Beethoven or Einstein.
No, he is mighty upset about something. That
The
is
face,
definitely
it has to be a little long, I guess. Yeah.
longer. Yes, yes. But you get you get the idea. So you've understood what
Yes.
didn't go right, and it can be fixed. So don't worry about that. Now, this is the whole point of this exercise was that we understand that everything can be the same things can be done in different ways to different degrees of detailing. Okay. That's all I wanted to point out, that if you go somewhere and you want to do it fast, no pencil, nothing, no time to waste, do this. And you'll still get what you're trying to do. You have all the time in the world, sit and do Beethoven. There's lots to do. And worst case scenario, you have nothing, just a pencil. Even with a pencil, you can do so much, right? So all play of
But tell
that.
me, Susan, for this Beethoven, why did we do this? What is it? Wash outside. We could do it in the last, right? Anyway, it's a dark color.
We can do it at the end. We can do it. Yeah, you can do it at the end. So this thing about wash being put first and last is a bit of a controversial matter, because if you ask artists different at different points, different things work for them. Now in our Beethoven case, because we had a pencil outline, I would still say you can put the wash in the beginning. But if you are, suppose you were trying Beethoven without a pencil outline, I'd say don't put the wash. You don't have any idea what to do with the wash yet. You don't have a structure yet. So in that case, make your full thing, make your full impression, then go with the wash. Yeah.
Okay.
So it all depends on what you have and what you don't have. If you have a very clear pencil outline, it's all right. You've got the proportions all right. Go in with the wash. But the wash was required because Beethoven's bust is a marble bust, having very light shadows, very, very light shadows. So to bring out the goodness of that marble bust, you needed the dark background. Whereas with the Buddha and with this hand and all that, what is happening is we are putting in the shadows a little deeper. See, even here, Buddha shadows are deeper than Beethoven shadows. So when you start putting in a material for which the color is darker than the background, you don't need a background. Here, the material is lighter than the background, so we need a background. So you have to consider the material. It's very, very important. What are you coloring in with? And if the one material is one thing, the other thing is, are you sticking to the material's color? Now in this Buddha's case, it's a grayish thing and we have done brown. If you are not sticking to the material color, then you are interpreting things entirely differently, right? So it all depends on how you've decided to illustrate. But overall you can do this quite well. I'm going to sit and finish this hander because it's like I'm itching to do this. And Beethoven, of course, needs some work. And Buddha is fine. I'm going to leave Buddha because that's my 15 minute ka kaam.
But this was fun, Susan.
Fun, no? Yeah. So next week, what we'll do is we'll get out of this sun. I think it's too much of detailed thinking and painting and all that. So I was thinking next week, that we'll do loose florals.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like go easy and just do loose florals. If you all have any other suggestion, please tell me. Any other suggestions, any other topics you'd like to cover, tell me. But
Loose
otherwise,
florals is great. But
Fine.
are we just going to do it on the page here, or we'll do
no,
something
we can
like an
use
envelope
the
or something?
page. We can use the page as a place to try out a few shapes, because you don't want to do that. Do it directly. Suppose you want to try a flower sideways, full front facing. All that experimentation we can do on this page. But if you have watercolor paper, or if you have, for that matter, I have this 200 GSM paper, which is very easy to fold. Like it folds into a card very easily. 300 GSM doesn't fold nice. 300 is too thick. But if you have 200 GSM paper, or even if you have 300, make it the size of an A6, cut it into A6 size. We can make many different things on four of those, and we can stick it on cards, use it up as cards. Yeah. Okay, so watercolor paper means your loose florals will look even better, much better. On this paper, not as much, because it can't take that much water. So if you have watercolor paper, that would be better. On this, we will simply do some structure, basic structure. Okay, this petal is this way, that's just analysis. So get some watercolor paper. Okay. And please post pictures.
Yes.
Okay. All right. See you all next week. Anything else?
Yeah, just I wanted to show you my Buddha. So I've messed up the hair. Sorry. Can you see?
Ah, okay. No, you have not messed up the hair. No. So you've added a shade. And it is not blended very well. What I'd recommend you do is go in again with a wash.
Okay.
And add that wash and then again blend it. And after it has dried, then what will happen is your blending will be a little better with this wash that you put. Okay. Put a wash consistency, then kind of use a clean brush to just dry off the right side of it so that it blends nicely. After that whole thing dries, so then go in with a slightly darker shade of brown and put the ringlets of his hair.
Okay.
It will fix. It will fix. It will still fix. You will still get the feeling of it's correct. It's fine.
Okay.
But the face is looking so nice, Jai.
Yeah.
The Buddha's face is very nice.
This is nice, and
Yeah,
I'm telling
very
you, your
pleasant.
shades are your only this thing that's gone with the hair is right now the shading hasn't come. It's looking dark and light. The blending of the dark and light has not come in nicely. So that if you do with a wash, you blend it in little more, you'll be fine. And then on top of that, you can do all the finer details.
Okay.
So just blend it, you'll get it. But yeah, it's come out well. So that's what I'm saying. See, with a free hand brush, you can get the shape. We always tend to think that we need to draw a structure to get the proportions right. The proportions will come even with a brush. Because now we have drawn and painted so much, we will definitely get it with a brush.
Yeah. I think I'm better with human figures anyway than with the objects. Yeah.
It's just something that you figure it when you do. So it's good you figured that out. It's good. You do more of that. Good.
Thank you, Susan.
And Susan, I just remembered one of the classes we can do that mosaic.
We can do mosaic if everyone likes mosaic. I also love mosaic anyway. We can do mosaic, yeah. So we have next week is what date?
I think it's 21st or 22nd, something like that.
Okay. So we have one more, no? That means we will have one more June class.
Yeah.
22.
Yeah, 22. So then we can do mosaic for that class. Yeah, let's do
July first week, Aditi is back, is it?
I think 5th or something. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, first week she's back, but I think maybe first week we will still need to. It will still be me. But maybe by 8th or 10th or something, she may start class. Whatever Tuesday, Saturday starts off after she comes back, she will manage. She said she will. So mosaic we can do definitely, Varsha. We'll do mosaic after the florals. Okay. So then June is taken care of. We'll do florals followed by mosaic. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Right.
See you.
Bye
See you.
bye.
See you. Bye.
Next weekend.
Bye.
Bye.